ANANDA MOYI. Lake Titicaca, Peru. February 27, 2020. Agape interdimensional spatial resonance. I am now, may the grace of love impregnate you totally. I come back of my own free will, beyond any structure and any function and role, to invite you to celebrate in this special place where the waters from above and the waters from below are gathered together, where the masculine and the feminine are set against each other, in their completeness as well as in their insufficiency or lack. I come simply to invite you to the grace of the love that is within you, not depending on any world, relationship or circumstance. I also come to celebrate with you in this country the closing of the history of creation. Above all, I come to invite you to be authentic, in the moment that presents itself to you whatever the circumstances. For what knocks at your door and in your hearts at these special moments are ultimately destined only to enable you to find yourselves in full, to remember who you are, who I am too, who each of us is, whatever our person, whatever our joys or sufferings. The light invites you today through its intelligence to go beyond all limits, all restrictions. There is no effort to make, except to love every minute, whatever life presents to you, in the happiest as well as in the most unhappy events. In the end, this concerns only the person, and is precisely what is necessary, useful and indispensable for each one of you in his or her history as well as in the collective history of the creation of this earth in remote times, very ancient times, linked as you know in this country to what is called PALMA. The geneticist mothers have sown and fertilized this world, the origin of creation, the culmination of creation, MOYI, and alas, you have also lived through it, through division and separation. Everything that happens in your lives, in every element and event, from the most insignificant to the most joyful, exhilarating or dramatic, is only there to allow you to stop the fight against the shadows, against your shadows, against the appearance of lack, for you are, and you know it for many of you, perfect before any creation, before any form, before any name, before any history, before any country and any world. I invite you to find yourselves, you know that there is no effort to be made except to look within yourselves, and to no longer interfere in any way, beyond what is necessary in the projection of this world that will appear to you, and this is already the case for many, as more and more unreal, ephemeral, without consistency and replaced by that love called Agape. This peace and joy is unlike any other that each one of you, whatever you may still think of it today, has the same intensity within you. We are one, you know, and beyond unity, the form, the worlds, the colors, the spheres of life, have only passed, have only been experienced, so that you can find yourselves today, for each of you, in your life, in the place where you are in this moment as in each moment that will follow, in the best place. Do not fear any event, for events are ultimately there only to enable you to understand and grasp that nothing can come from outside, neither savior, nor master, nor guru, nor friend, nor lover, nor wife nor child. Go within yourself, cease all struggle, cease all combat, cease all need and desire for understanding, and from that moment on you will be free, immediately in the present instant. Only those who are still attached to certain memories, to certain events, to certain bonds, are still obstructed by this truth, this good news that is there for all humanity as well as for all creation. Whatever the nature and the content of the events that take place in your life as on the surface of this world and in these heavens, do not be disturbed in any way. All of this is only intended to enable you to remember beyond all knowledge, beyond all scenario, beyond all memory, beyond all forms and all life as well as all names, beyond who you are. Here, in this place, on these highest waters of the earth, the waters of the sky and the waters of the earth have always been mutually fecundated for a long time, since the second dream of creation. But it does not matter, no story holds any longer, but it is important for you, wherever you are, to remember that from the moment you cease all desire to understand and to know, to surpass, from that moment you are free. Remember that this is a relaxation and not an effort. Everything is brought to you in abundance by yourself, to remember. Each brother, each sister, each meeting, each event is there from now on only to precipitate you into the truth, which does not depend on any knowledge, any concept, any argument, any circumstance. A certain number of elements will be presented to you individually and collectively, new and unknown, but that you will only be able to recognize at the instant, as you know where you embrace, where you accept, where love and the grace of love are flowing through you. You have nothing to do, you have nothing to seek, today more than ever. So here is my invitation, in this special place, to invite you to fecundate this masculine and feminine within you, to rediscover this primordial androgyne, source of happiness and which inescapably leads you to the recognition of who you are. You are not only the creature and the creator, you are not only mother geneticist, bandit, murderer or saint, you are above all what lives in all the experiences of creation, whatever the limited aspects of your perceptions, your beliefs, your adhesions. Beyond all this, there is a central point in your chest, the heart of the heart, inscribed in time zero, the original memory of the myth of creation, of the very illusion of suffering, even though it is sometimes lived with intensity. Do not reject anything, let it be what it is, and you will then see that instantly you are free. Only your beliefs and your limits, which you still impose on yourself, avails that you place on the truth. Above all, I would like to call you today to the ineffable beauty of whatever and others have called agape. But remember that this agape today does not take place between one and the other, between one and a circumstance, but precisely between the two. You are the space of creation, you are the infinite time, an illusion of course, and yet it has given the illusion of unfolding. I invite you to stop all fighting, I invite you to look at yourselves with humility and love, perhaps today more than ever. I invite you today to disregard all that concerns your body, your possessions, not to get rid of them but to go beyond them and go beyond everything that has made the history of your life. For you are none of these things. You are pure beauty, you are pure love. And only your ultimate belief in this person here may still be hiding it from you. I have come to speak to you of liberation, of total awakening, to see that there is neither awakening nor liberation, but simply what is there, right now. And that includes all the instants of all dimensions, of all times, of all history, of all scenarios, of all beliefs as well. Release everything that may still seem misunderstood and not lived. The solution is within you more than ever, for nothing in this world will be able to stand up to the truth that you are. Every day, every hour and the illusion of time passing brings you closer to this beauty. No matter what it looks like and no matter what the circumstances that are going to unfold and are already unfolding. In the end, all of this is only pretexts that put an end to the history of questioning, as Baidu would say, to the fraud of the spirituality of consciousness itself. You are pure truth, pure beauty, pure love, no matter what you think, no matter what you say, no matter what your suffering body thinks and says. I invite you to this, for there is nothing simpler, there is nothing more humble, there is nothing greater, there is nothing more essential. Everything else is just passing by, as you know. So do not hold anything, do not hold back anything, be available to each event, to each brother, to each sister you meet in whatever circumstance. It is no longer time today to talk about stars, it is no longer time today to talk about chakras, energy, knowledge or history, but to find the very source of history. And for you, privileged in this place, you are going to travel a certain number of paths on the theatre stage of this world, in these days that are going to pass, allowing you, not by chance, but by right to find yourself in totality. You are invited, and you know it, to share the good news of love. You do not need words, you do not need justifications, you need silence, you need interiority, you need the gaze, and you need to love each other, beyond all roles, beyond all animosity and all history. That is forgiveness, that is reconciliation, and that is happiness and beauty. Such is the grace of love in these times, and the more it may seem to you at times to be far from it, the closer you are to it. All you have to do is to let go, all you have to do is open your arms, open your eyes, and love without question, a love that knows no boundaries related to an effect or a circumstance, a love that does not depend on anything or anyone, for you of the space and all the time that has passed in the illusion of creation. This is now happening with more and more acuity, more and more evidence, more and more ease, from the instant you let go of what you think you hold with your thoughts, with your emotions, with your last beliefs. Remember, you are pure beauty. Not in this character, not in the circumstances of this society, or even of this world, or even in this particular place. You're beyond all that. You are invited to remember and celebrate it every minute. You have no choice but to live it in the present instant, which inevitably brings you back to time zero, the time of eternal bliss, as I have been able to express it in my lifetime for many years. It is no longer time now to pursue some long-term goal. Of course, you must assume what you have created yourself in the circumstances of your lives, but without feeling the slightest weight, the slightest difficulty, for all this will be smoothed out from the instant when you sincerely, with frankness, you love everything, every being, in order to discover that love never makes a difference between the loved one and the enemy. It concerns the person, it concerns the soul, it concerns the conscience, but you're prior to all this. It only takes an instant, it only takes a circumstance, where your arms are open, where your eyes sparkle, and where you are listening, thunderstorm, and embracing what is happening, to live it fully. Then your sacred water and your sacred fire will merge within you. There will be no more masculine, there will be no more feminine, there will just be the intensity and the beauty of love, which you manifest in each circumstance. Even your recriminations, your shortcomings, whether financial, emotional, or in any other circumstance, will appear ridiculous compared to the intensity of what you are. Perhaps you also know this, as you have heard from the testimonies of brothers and sisters. Many of you are already living it on this earth, but also in all dimensions, from the densest, on this earth, to the most ethereal and subtle. It is no longer about weddings, no longer about energy, no longer about celebration, but about the simplicity of the instant. Everything else is there, everything else is, and will become more and more complicated, more and more suffering. You do not have to suffer, for anyone, for anything, or by any lack whatsoever. Accept that you are full and whole, and you will live it instantly. Do not look for anything, embrace what is there, in the instant of what is happening, whatever is happening. You are nothing of what is happening. You are nothing of that which is happening. You are nothing of what is born and will one day die. It is all about the person and about laws that have been called laws of evolution. But there is no evolution, since you are perfect even before the first breath, even before the first emanation of light from the Absolute, which you call, I believe, the Parabrahman. This eternal beatitude and this eternal bliss, of which I have already had many times the opportunity to speak to you, to teach you, in order to prepare you to live these instants. It is therefore a perpetual communion with beauty, with grace, with love, whatever the state of your body, whatever the state of your life, whatever the country where you are, whatever the events that are now taking place at a sustained rhythm, in order to make you rediscover this beauty. Remember, it only takes an instant and you are in the truth of the absolute and time zero, prior to all creation, all time and all space. You will then be entirely ready for the final communion, that of the apotheosis of revelation, that of the apotheosis of your beauty. Above all, remember that there is nothing to do, there is nothing else to do except where you are inserted in today's life, at your age and in your condition, because it is precisely at your age and in this emotional, professional, financial and friendly condition that your present instant, your time zero, is found. Accept fully, without reluctance and without questioning. Try it, and you will see that the beauty is there. All the rest belongs only to the character, with his stories, his scenarios, these impressions of lack, of incompleteness, which are only jokes compared to the truth that you are. You see, this simplicity is such that sometimes it is not yet seen, that sometimes it is not yet lived, and that is what I am here today to give you as information. Be true, be present, open your arms, your heart, your eyes, and thus you will go through any judgment related to history or circumstances. And so you will discover yourself in the nakedness of beauty and in the perpetual grace of Agape. It is very important that I say these words to you on this day, and that they be transmitted. You have nothing to do, you don't even have to be. You have nothing to pursue, you have nothing to seek, you just have to turn around, really, in your heart of hearts, there, in the middle of your chest, and you're free instantly. And if that is not the case, then I invite you to look at what you care about, what you think you are missing. All of these are just fantasies that have brought you to this point. In love there is no suffering, in love there is no fear, in love there is no guilt, in love there is only open arms, in love there is only beauty and grace. And you are invited, each one of you, to plunge with lost body, with lost heart, into this present instant that brings you back to time zero, where you remember, without any ambiguity, without any questioning, your beauty, prior to creation. Many years ago I spoke to you at length about Shanti Nilaya, the abode of supreme peace. Today, children, elderly adults, saints as well as assassins have the same capacity for grace, forgiveness and freedom. Do not judge anything, neither you nor the other, nor the circumstances of this world, which will, according to a person's gaze, deteriorate with extreme intensity in the coming days. Be true, you do not need anything, you do not have to worry about anything. In an instant, if you are present to yourself, then beauty is there, and the eternal grace of love will put an end, like an incredible balm, to all suffering, to all lack, whether it concerns your body, a relationship of any kind. You have been invited to this for many years, but this time, as a final call to the love that you are. As a final call not to let yourself be carried away by any circumstance in your life or even in this world. Be true, be present, do not react to anything, embracing everything, go through everything. This had been explained to you at length, whether by Abba, the commander, or by Da, or even the One, Thunder, who has relayed us for so many years. The time has come of the fire of the Spirit, of the baptism of the Spirit, in this instant, and in every instant. And it will be. These are the very simple words I wanted to give you today. We have done everything we can to bring you closer to yourself. Resonate with one another in this love and this beauty. You are no character, no form, no world, but you are what sustains the worlds, what has sustained the dream of creation, like all suffering, like all artistic creations, like everything that has happened since time immemorial on this earth. So, if you have any questions, both personal and what I have just reminded you of, then I am listening to you. Brother. Well, in view of the magnificent presentation you have just made, the questions seem very light to me. It does not matter. Brother, here they are. We're delighted to hear from you again. Is it because of our presence in Peru? Also, we have with us a young woman of indigenous origin. There is indeed, and as Eba has already shown you for 2 years now, everything you live has been written at the very origin of the worlds. Not everything that happens is fortuitous. You have no choice, there is freedom, there is the true grace of love. Just be lucid, just be true. You need nothing else but your eyes, your silence, your arms and your heart in front of everyone. Then the spatial, interdimensional Agape resonance will remind you who you are. The waters of heaven and earth, as I said, met around this place called Lake Titicaca. In many places around, all around this lake, there are memories, but also I would say programs, which do not have to be known or recognized, but they also have to be crossed. And you are in this place to cross these ingrams, and to live what is to be lived, not only for you who are here, but by communion and by spatial interdimensional Agape resonance with the whole of humanity, with the whole of creation. The waters fecundating the fire of the Spirit is now present on earth. No one will be able to ignore it, no one will be able to escape from it. Then yes, but do not seek to understand beyond what is to be lived in the instant. Do not seek personal history or personal explanations. It was written long before you lived, just to remind you of it when a time came. And that moment has come with the intensity that is there. So embrace and love above all else. You are the truth, you are the life, you are the living and the fire of the Spirit that brings you back to who you are at that instant. Brother, the waters above make so much noise it is hard to hear you. The important thing is not my words, not my teachings, not even my presence, but your presence, there, here, in this instant. Embrace. Brother, so you have already partly answered the following question, which is, does the presence of our group in Peru at this time have any special significance? Beloved, yes, I have answered it. And as you said, the waters above and the fire in the sky answer it much better than my words. In this very instant. Brother, another question, why do people of different sexes, who seem to be opposed to each other, find themselves together in these particular times? The only answer, go beyond the need to understand. Do not question yourself in any way. Be there, and you're there. Turn within yourself, beyond all questioning and understanding. It has been said many times by Bida, living it is understanding, but as long as you want to understand, there is incomprehension. Let it be what it is. Do not even question the meaning of your presence in this place, it has been written. And that should be enough for you to be available for what is to be lived. Accept that the intelligence of the light will fecundate you through the waters from above and the waters from below, from within the earth, from the one who first, in time immemorial, you call in this place Pachamama, and who was, at the origin of the accompaniment of the dream of creation. You need know nothing else but to celebrate, to embrace, and to be there, without any other questioning than to be there. Instead, remember to open your arms, to be true, and to be simple, and you will live it, and you will understand it. But you cannot in any way understand it beforehand, otherwise you will move away from it, as surely as the sun sets in the evening. The coming together of waters above and waters below evidently brings us back to the water peoples, to their origin, to the guardians of the dream, to Faham, here at this moment. Everything will be understood the instant you live it, but remember that in order to live it, it is useless to want to understand anything, because spontaneity and the path of childhood suffer from no discussion, no mind. If you place yourself in this posture, then there is no more distance. Then there is no more veil, there is no more suffering that holds, there is no more questioning that can be maintained. And you will be fully present, and you will discover the source of the presence, which is nothing but absence. The absolute, the great all, the great void, are but concepts. There is only love, beyond the light, through all light as well as through all shadows. All these have been only pretexts and games to find you. And it is now. Brother, is the coronavirus a trigger for the event? Beloved, the important thing for others, for us, those we call our brothers and sisters who are still sleeping, attached to the fears of this world or the sirens of this world, to the material, to the form, need to enter into resilience. Let these be the celestial signs, let these be the events of the earth itself, of what you call viruses. A virus is nothing else, whatever its origin, human, accidental, divine or diabolical, makes no difference in the finality of history. It simply puts you face to face with yourself, revealing who you are. Fear or love. There is no greater fear for mankind than what you call pandemic, whatever the cause. If you are in love, if you are in the present instant, you cannot be touched in any way. But remember that when I say this, it also means that for some people it is necessary to put an end to the illusion of creation, the illusion of attachment, the illusion of possession and the illusion of fear. There is no culprit, there is no one to blame, since everything was written long before the first breath of creation, long before the first dream. Be humble, be simple, accept what is, even if you sometimes have to act, but first of all, accept that it is, and you will be instantly blessed by who you are. And all of you, you will be able to recognize yourself, instantly, beyond any questioning, beyond any questioning, beyond any need to understand, to explain, to relate, to a past or to a future. Time is an illusion, space is an illusion, form is an illusion. You are pure beauty, pure bliss, no matter what your person says, no matter what your life says, no matter what society says and no matter what this world says. With the same happiness, you in this place, who are discovering a culture, memories, you are fully present, you are not looking for anything else but to live it, be it through your eyes, through your senses, you do not ask questions, so do the same for who you are, and you will then understand that you are at the source of the world, at the source of the dimensions, at the source of creation. And that is enough to put an end to the dream. Look for nothing, be there, and what better for you who are there than to be there fully every minute, opening your eyes, your senses, to what is being lived, to this discovery or rather to this rediscovery. Everything else is done without you, but through you. You must be fully present. Everything happens here, not in another place, not in a tomorrow, not in a knowledge, not in a vibration, not in an energy, not even more in what you used to call chakras, stars, doors. All of this has had its usefulness, but today not at all. Only humility and spontaneity, embrace, are useful. Everything else is superfluous, in its entirety. Brother, what is special about the South American continent in the days ahead? Beloved, the Andes Cordillera is part of the Belt of Fire, which is the crown, not the virus, the simulacrum, but the crown of glory, which encircles your heart at the level of the ascending heart, at the level of the crown of fire of your eternity, beyond any world, beyond any passing time. So evidently in this continent there is a predisposition to harmony, as I said, of the masculine and feminine, as they have been named in this culture in this country. But as in all traditions. But perhaps here, through the proximity of the waters above and the waters below, with greater resonance, greater reliance and greater authenticity. In the same way that the guardians of the dream through the cetaceans and the people of the water have been the guarantors of your awakening, if I may say so. In the same way, this space and this place that you call South America is the bearer, as I said, of the second dream. Do not look to history, just like what you are going to see, what you have seen, to be fully there, simple, available, true and authentic. Do not try to understand, do not look for anything, just be there, available and present, and everything else will be given to you in addition. And then you will find at that moment that you don't even need any knowledge, any story, any scenario, just be what is beyond being and non-being, in the abode of supreme peace, Shanti Nilaya. I refer you to the years 2011 and 2012 where my interventions were very focused on what you are living now. Of course, in the time of the start, the elders and the archangels, we anticipated everything that was going to happen, beyond time. Of course, many of you have been troubled by the time that has passed without anything happening, and for those of you who are aware of it, and who are looking back at what we told you, you see that absolutely everything that was said, whether it was by the elders, the stars, the archangels, is now coming true, to the nearest comma. There is no better proof of the authenticity of what we have led you to and which it is now up to you to finalize in its entirety. So what we said years ago may still be, I would say, crutches, the foundation on which you can sit your present instant, but nothing more. The most important thing is not what has been said, the most important thing is you, in this instant, in this place, in your life. Do not judge anything, accept everything and you will remember who you are, before being and non-being, this ineffable joy that comes to cover the circumstances of your lives, even the most painful ones. Thunder. Brother, so I have a question. You spoke to us a lot about illusion. Can one be in the heart of the heart and think that having a high social status and a necessity in this world? I would even say, beloved, that it is a total obstacle, simply reflecting a need for security, an inner lack that needs to be filled. He who is free cares for nothing, really and concretely. My life has been an illustration of this, and you have countless brothers and sisters today who are living this same state. You cannot serve two masters at the same time. You cannot pretend to be in the heart of the heart and claim anything in this world, especially today. It no longer holds, it is a lie, it is a fear, it is an inner suffering. The one who is free, as Christ said a long time ago, does not care what he will eat tomorrow. He who is absorbed in the present instant cannot but notice the fluidity and unity of his life, whatever the anger, whatever the memories that are being evacuated, whatever the sufferings too. He who is free can claim absolutely nothing in this world, let alone in this society. All this belongs to the person, and, above all, to the fear, to be true, to surrender. He who loves can only surrender. Do not hide behind the words in the heart of the heart. I remind you that they correspond to extremely precise perceptions that Edward developed concerning the double terrace of the heart. So to pretend to be in the heart of the heart without living the double terrace of the heart is a mental illusion. Only the one who lives this double terrace. It is neither an energy nor a vibration, but a recognition. When Edward tells you that he is each one of you, as I said in my lifetime, it is not a play on words, it is not a concept, it is not an energy, it is the strict truth. So stop running away from yourselves, these are only fears, and sufferings that have not been accepted and gone through. Brother, how do you get out of the traditional educational conditioning for a young indigenous woman? You can't, it is strictly impossible. A few years ago Bidek called this refutation. Today you have nothing to refute, you simply have to accept, and I repeat firmly, that you are neither this person nor this history nor this suffering, nor this conditioning, nor this religion. When you call yourself an indigenous, you are violent, you reject everyone else. When you call yourself a Buddhist, you are violent because you reject all others. He who is free is neither Buddhist nor Muslim, neither white nor black nor yellow. He is free, he is not conditioned by anything. You cannot from your character and your person, not even by energy or vibration, free yourself. This has been explained at length by Abba. It is a sacrifice, but this sacrifice is nothing. But of course, the ego, the person, the mind, the story, will constantly instill in you that it is impossible, that is its role. But you are none of those things. Stop believing that you're this, stop believing that you're this, stop believing that you have this age, stop believing that you have so many children, stop believing that you have money or that you have no money. Be what you are, don't look for anything you already are. Everything else is just avoidance strategies, conditioning and past sufferings that have not been accepted, let alone gone through. Brother, there are no more written questions. Are there any oral ones? Brother, does anyone have a question? Assembly, no. As you can see, the fertilization of the waters above and the waters below took place during our meeting. It was written down, of course. Even the one who let me speak through him could not conceive it. It is so, and it is part of grace, it is part of the beauty of love, it is part of who you are. Do not try to understand anything, do not claim anything, be there and you experience it, that beauty, that permanent agape. It is up to you to know, who do you prefer, the ephemeral or the truth? There is no other choice, on that depends your sacrifice. On that depends whether you are already there or not. So, beloved ones, I give you thanks if there is no one left to speak up, for your listening, for your embrace, and for your hearty reception. Brother, we thank you very much for your coming. The elements have manifested themselves in this instant, for that. And it will continue to do so. So allow me, since I'm within you, to say this. May peace, love, joy, and truth be present in the midst of your bosom and in every instant and every breath of whatever you have to live. I am now, and I love you, you are me and I'm you, without any ambiguity. It is now time for me to be silent, and I invite you who are present in this instant, but also for each one of you, when he hears my words, to go and lie down, without asking for anything and without expecting anything, in stillness and silence and with your eyes closed. And you will see for yourself the beauty that you are. Through Jean-Luc Young. Les Transformations. English Revised Translation. LMF.